Inhale, be present with it, and then just release that. The etymology of breath literally means spirit. And there's been people that have tried to argue that that doesn't mean that it means spirit, but words are a structure that is designed around meaning. So, yes, when a word is labeled with a sound, it is because it is the essence of what the meaning is. So, if the etymology of inhale in inspire is from the word inspirito, which actually means spirit, right? What we know of as spirit, which some people could even label as God, Allah, Aum, Prana, Chi, universe, source, infinite intelligence, creation, creator. That is what breath is. And breath is what inspires life. Our inspiration is what gives us life. And the last breath is what signals the end of life. And death and the end of life is really the moment where our creative processes have ceased to exist on this plane. We come here in physical vessels that are more like vehicles for our consciousness, and we get to create amongst others in this physical reality. And breath is something that we're all sharing. It connects us all, and this is what we use to create. So there's breath to enliven us, and there's breath to calm us. So an example of an amplifying breath would be mostly like the Wim Hof type stuff that people are definitely doing, but we're going to do something that existed way before Wim Hof labeled it the Wim Hof method. And it's a practice that the Aryans used to use. It's the Aryan wake up call. And we'll just do about 1 minute of it, but you could do it for 6 minutes, you could do it for 11 minutes, and this is something that will amp you up after 1 minute. But after 6 minutes, after 8 minutes, after 11 minutes, after 31 minutes, you start to clear, you start to enhance your present moment awareness. And that's all happening because the breath is moving through you. It's increasing your current. It is a current. It's a current of energy. It's a current of air. You're increasing the pressure of this current. And the thing about currents is that they clear, right? If you imagine stepping into a river and it's washing you, not just the dirt off of you. So hands like this. And if you know breath of fire, then we do breath of fire. But essentially, it's just exhale, inhale. And the exhales are happening so fast, just like in breath of fire, where the exhales happen by pulling in that navel center. So that's exhale. And then the inhale happens as the diaphragm relaxes, and it happens automatically. So exhale, and then the inhale is coming here. And it's not necessary, but if you really want to do this, the focus is completely on the exhale, and then the inhale, you in this particular Aryan wake-up call, you do want to give it a little bit of force. You want to pull in the in, but the momentum is created on with the arms, with the hands. We're exhaling down, and then we're inhaling up, and the thumbs graze each other just barely, and you come up. And this is going to be cleaning, literally, both sides of the brain. So when we use both sides of our body, which is why walking is extremely beneficial just for physical health, it's beneficial for our thought processes because it brings in the entirety of the brain into the equation. It's also very beneficial for things like psychotherapy because, once again, if we get stuck in a trauma, it's happening in one part of our mental capacity, our emotional body, our mental body, our emotional body, and even within the physical structures of our brain. And as we walk, we're using contralateral movement, we're using our entire body, we're using the balance of our entire body, we're using the nadis, the meridians of our entire body are all active in the state of walking, which is a very normal, very human thing to do. This is what would reset our nervous system. This would reset our thoughts. This would reset our emotions. Go take a walk. Let me walk it off. Walking is extremely beneficial. Walking to get to know somebody, walking to clear your head, walking to be creative, walking to inspire creation, to set intention. Walking is extremely beneficial. I'm saying all that because this is going to be clearing and balancing both hemispheres of the brain. You almost could think about this as your arms become the lobes of the brain. And there's two really long books, if you would like to read them, about the two-sided brain concept, because there's a lot of back and forth going like, is there such a thing as right brain and left brain, and is it false, is it made up, and is there a masculine and feminine side? Well, there's people that have spent their entire life looking into it and looking into research, looking into there's parts of history where the sides of the brain didn't connect, and there's literature from those times in history, and you can see that there's contrast between then and now and how our brains interact now. One of the books is called The Master and Its Emissary, I believe, and I forget the other book, but it is probably the more simpler one to read, but there's one there for you. Okay. I have a degree in psychology, so I'm always interested in psychology and the brain and how humans work, because I went to school and I got that degree because that's what I'm interested in. Okay, exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Once again, I'm doing that because we're live, so in case you're joining. So we're exhaling, and then we're inhaling up. Exhaling, inhaling up. Got that? And if you're advanced and you'd like to, then increase that inhale up. All right, sorry about that cough. But I said we were only going to do this for a minute, and it brought up an important point. And it's usually that you don't do breath work for only a minute. You could hear me getting adjusted to the rhythm of the breath, and sometimes it happens from my personal experience, in my nasal cavity. Sometimes it happens because my throat's dry, but sometimes it happens psychologically where there's part of me that's resisting the movement, the shift in the state of being. Sometimes there's pain, sometimes there's a lack of oxygen, and for the first minute or so, maybe the first 3 minutes, 2 minutes, the body's getting adjusted to that. Just like if you start running down the street or around the block, or you start running on a treadmill, and you're running the first 2 minutes before the body's energetic cycles catch up to the movement of running. The 90 seconds in, 2 minutes, when your body's starting to run out of sugar that's in the blood and the muscles, the glycogen, and before it's creating its own energy from air, there's this moment where you get really, really uncomfortable. But if you can get past that, then the body's starting to cycle in aerobic energy and starting to eventually take that energy from fat through the Krebs cycle. There's a few moments of uncomfortableness. It's the same with breath work. If you can get past the uncomfortableness, then you can go for much longer. We could even do that for a half hour straight, 33 minutes straight, 31 minutes straight, and you will ascend your current state of being.